simple with the confetti in the opening scene, which pans to the left along with the camera. For some reason. Now I get why this is, because obviously animating confetti falling whilst the camera is moving past it is probably quite a difficult thing to do, but if that's the case, just don't have confetti falling then. It's not like confetti falling is a constant thing at carnivals and fairs anyway. Just leave it out if it's too much effort.
Yeah, I got nothing. That was the worst ending. Sin remove.
So the episode is called The March of the Exeggutor Squad. Bloody hell, lads, fill the box, why don't you? I'm just saying, it's a bit of a mouthful. Why not have a clever pun like, ain't that execute? Or even something simple like Melvin the Numpty.
That because it tried to match up with the Japanese name of the episode, Liam.
Oh, also the title's in all caps, so it's actually pronounced The March of the Exeggutor Squad!
Hey, keep it down there, Misowski. I try to watch Maleficent out here.
So this guy is begging this girl not to leave and saying that he'll pay her as soon as he can. And with the way he's basically kissing the floor at the woman's feet, you could easily mistake this for some kind of paid-for humiliation kink situation. Yeah, sadly there is a market for that kind of thing, and I don't really get it. Like, why pay someone to humiliate you when you could literally just upload a video to YouTube of yourself I've just done that. My career's over.
Meh, it's more likely a blessing than a curse, mate. While it is annoying, but at least it's wholesome and cute. Compare that to a very minty Christmas tree scene.
And what's wrong with that?
Never mind! The toy!
So the woman who's clearly part of this guy's show asks him who's gonna come and see your lousy show. I mean, if the show that you're part of is lousy, then doesn't that possibly mean that your performance in the show is also lousy? I'm just saying, maybe instead of just walking out, why not suggest some improvements to the act?
That's not what she's referring to. She wasn't referring to her talent is terrible. She's actually referring to how Melvin is a terrible boss at the entertainment for his customer, which we later see that. Now, granted, she does want Melvin to pay her, but that's her being upset at him for being a bad boss.
Remember guys, if ever you're trying to convince a woman that you're not dating to continue working with you, don't rub your face against her bare thighs. It never ends well. I mean, statistically there is a teeny tiny chance that it may end really well, but you don't want to risk it. Police might be called.
But doesn't mean reason why she quit. Oh, forget it.
It turns out the guy's name is Melvin, and he's a magician who dreams of having his own Las Vegas show. Las Vegas is in the Pokemon world? Who knew?
Well, actually, Liam, I think you'll find a lot of real-world places are referenced in Pokemon, like Misty dreaming about going to Paris and you being discovered in Guyana.
Wow, you must also have access to the internet too. You're so lucky.
Yeah it is. This is the 2020s, not the 1970s. It is where everyone can access the internet to know things. Well, everyone, except Nerdrock, for whatever reason don't know what word legacy character means and just don't like black characters.
Also, where do Ash and Brock get off going to watch a magic show without even looking for Misty and Pikachu to see if they want to go watch it too? Bad friends, man. Bad friends.
And how do you know they didn't? All we know is that Misty and Pikachu left after embarrassing by Ash and Brock doing a Fortnite dance. I mean, it's almost like there's no scene of that in the episode opening, right? Huh.
How about that?
According to Dexter, even though Exeggutor appears to resemble an egg, it's actually known to be more closely related to the seed of a plant. Well then why is one cracked open like an egg with a yellow yolk-like liquid inside?
Well, I also find Exeggutor's idea of how to avoid ing is a bad idea. So I say, what the heck? But what the Exeggutor Pokédex was referring to It's called mimicry. It is where the species have the ability to mimic other species or objects to avoid being eaten. Now, the sign of executing is, not good, but that's what the podcast was referring to.
When getting ready for what Melvin thinks is his best trick, he has Pikachu creating sparks of electricity around him. But this is the first day Pikachu's worked with him, so how boring was his act before today?
Oh jeez, it's almost like a scene showing us the main reason why women leave him in the first place.
So Melvin's fire trick turns out to be OP as Yeah, because that's not incredibly dangerous. Surely Melvin would have had to show each of his tricks to the carnival owner before he was allowed to perform them, so how did this pass health and safety?
Referring to previous sin.
So Melvin's fire activates the sprinkler system and everybody gets soaked and starts throwing stuff at him, but somebody throws a slice of pizza. Who throws a perfectly good slice of pizza at someone? Even soaked by the sprinklers, it'd still be amazing.
What did you just say?
Even soaked by the sprinklers, it'd still be amazing.
Did you seriously just say you ever eat a soggy pizza that was soaked by a fire sprinkler, then throw it away?
Direct quote from Melvin.
Wait, don't go. The best part's just about to start.
Sounds like me during sex. Now, I already made a joke earlier in this series about someone with a moustache like that looking like Charlie Chaplin, so I guess this time I do have to compare his moustache to that of an Austrian-born dictator. But what was his name again? Oh yeah, Charlie Chaplin.
So he compared carnival owner to Hitler because of toothbrush mustache. That's fantastic, despite the fact the carnival owner had to fire Melvin so his customers won't leave because of his action. While it's harsh, but it's necessary. Compared it to Hitler's? Yeah, you get the point. And if anyone gonna bring up the toothbrush mustache...
Look, here's your f***ing rocket. Next.
So Melvin gets fired, and when Misty comes over to him, he drops to his knees, giving the writers an opportunity to throw in some fan service. Mate, that's grim. She's 10.
Well, actually, Liam, some people believe Misty is actually 11 years old.
Who cares if it's 10 or it's 11? You're still confirming that she's a child, which means that bollocks like this is still creepy as hell. They could have easily just shown Melvin in this scene, or even a shot over Misty's shoulder, but they didn't. They made a conscious effort to have her squat down in a leotard right in front of the camera. I'm just saying, I'm always going to criticize adults that make the conscious choice to draw kids like this. And if you have an issue with that, maybe you're part of the problem. Maybe you're the person that this has been drawn for. If that is the case and you are one of those people, unsubscribe. We don't want you.
Well, at least Liam actually had a conscience to call out on adults for defending pedophilic acts. Right, just a robot?
Ash tells Melvin not to give up and says if the show's no good, then learn some new tricks. Wait a minute, how has Melvin himself never thought of this? Like, surely it's a no-brainer that if your audience are literally telling you that they don't enjoy your tricks, to maybe look up a few more. Melvin's a dumbass. Pass it on.
And when Lime discovered that Melvin isn't bright as Mr. Mime, he doesn't realize that. Classic.
Jesse and James sunbathing on top of their hot air balloons on precariously angled sun loungers has to be one of the most pointlessly dangerous things I think I've ever seen. Like, aren't they worried about melanoma?
Melanoma? Are you serious?
Direct quote from Jesse.
Wait till they see our bag of tricks.
Mate, in that bathing suit, we can already see your bag of tricks.
Wow, customer 12's really bringing sexy back.
Melvin transforms his cane into a bouquet of flowers, and everybody claps and clearly sounds impressed. Except for Pikachu, whose voice doesn't play for some reason, so he just appears to have some kind of facial spasm.
Okay, well, here I go. Abracadabra! Ta-da!
Hey, alright! That was great!
Yeah, not gonna lie. Having Pikachu not speak while lips is moving is embarrassing. Like, who the hell is editing these? Like, what the heck? But then again, what we expect from the company who let this in, instantly I go 6.
Here's the line, by the way. I'm gonna turn the game up. Check it out. Check it out.
Agent Shadow, E123 Omega has engaged Mephiles. Head to the Wave Ocean, head to Wave Ocean. Agent Shadow, E123 Omega has engaged Mephiles. Head to Wave Ocean immediately.
Oh, that's awesome. I love it.
That's
I love
awesome.
it so much. Oh my god.
After the flowers in his trick die, Melvin drops to his knees once again and starts whining on about how all he's ever wanted to do is be a magician and entertain people, blah, 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 blah. Mate, you've tried one new trick so far. Maybe try a few more before you go bloody giving up. Honestly, this defeatist attitude is really starting to grate on me. Ash decides the key to success is cultural appropriation, apparently. Yikes.
No. No, it's not. Because what Ash is wearing is actually a reference to the Japanese comedy named Chopin Naigari, who is wearing a similar outfit as Ash does. Also, we do have a Pokemon that also wears the same dress as Ash does. And do you know what Pokemon that is? Minichan line. And yet, no one raised an eyebrow at that?
So for Ash's trick, he has a box in front of him that he can command fire, water, or anything, because they couldn't think of a word for grass, to come out of said box. So Melvin chooses fire, and flames shoot out of the box and burn his face to a crisp. Then he applauds. I'm getting a little bit worried about Melvin. He seems a little too excited at the prospect of... So it turns out Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle are all inside the box, and that's what's causing all the different elemental things to shoot forth from said box. But the problem is that it's too cramped and Charmander's tail keeps burning the others, and a fight breaks out. And this is a perfect example of how Pokemon in the real world would just be too dangerous. Every home that had a Charmander in it would eventually end up burned to the ground. And don't even get me started on Typhlosion, bloody flames shooting out of its back every time it gets excited.
You had me until you mentioned Typhlosion with a wrong emotion. Because if anyone look at Typhlosion Pokédex, where it mentioned it ignite its flame not through excitement, but when he... I don't know where you get that from, but I'm pretty sure that is opposite of joy. Like, who are you, IGN or something?
I'm just saying, Ash's Bulbasaur impression was crap. He could have at least pretended to be left in a Pokeball on Professor Oak's desk like every other Bulbasaur in the 90s.
Okay, that wasn't called for. Like, why in the world you are slandering G1 Bulbasaur like that? Because Bulbasaur is the easy mode starter against 2 first gym leaders, as well the rest of the gym leaders, because it's type combo and moveset advantage. So what's your excuse, Liam? Because I'm pretty sure you don't have one.
Misty and Brock are following Melvin's tracks, but why did they even let him take Ash in the first place? Surely when Melvin was setting up his little cart with Ash pulling it, they would have raised some concerns about the arrangement.
Yep, same with me. And the most baloney thing is, when we see Misty, Pikachu, and Brock again, they mention they're looking for Ash, but doesn't mention how they lost him. No hypnosis to sleep, tricked by substitute, or heck, not even reference to the powder moves.
Melvin mentions that Ash dreams of becoming a Pokemon Master, even though Ash hasn't mentioned that to Melvin at all. I mean, I guess he could have asked Ash during the journey, and Ash would have told him then, or maybe the Exeggutor has told Melvin telepathically because it's reading Ash's mind? I don't know, it just seems weird for him to just suddenly know.
Liam answered himself cliche.
Is it just me that can't hear?
I want you to battle these Exeggutor for me.
Without thinking of the iDubbbz Tanamojo content cop?
Liam make a pop culture reference that no one knows about cliche.
As per Ash's orders, via Melvin and Exeggutor, Charmander, Bulbasaur and Squirtle all attack the Exeggutor, and then Melvin catches them all in Pokeballs. I feel like Charmander does most of the work here though, because let's be real. How much damage are Bulbasaur and Squirtle's not very effective moves really dealing here?
Liam slammed on Bulbasaur cliche.
Melvin catches what appears to be thousands of Exeggutor from the amount of Pokeballs that are behind him in this image, but there only seem to be like 50 to 100 in the forest alone. Maybe these are actually all the empty Pokeballs from failed catches? I don't know.
I don't know, implying you didn't see this card right here.
Either way, how have all but 6 of the Exeggutor not been transported to a Pokemon lab? I guess Melvin really is a magician if he can have more than 6 Pokemon at once. Did I say magician? I meant hacker.
Joke would make sense if you mentioned Melvin Predictolder, who also has more than 6 Pokeballs.
Melvin's plan is to use all of these Exeggutor to hypnotize everybody at the carnival and command them to come and watch his magic show, which is quite a wholesome plan when you think about it. Like, Melvin, mate, if you have the power to hypnotize everybody at the carnival, you don't even have to perform a magic show. You could literally hypnotize them into giving you all of the money that they have in their possession and then hypnotize them to leave a rave review of a magic show that they think they saw.
I don't think we need to explain the reason why we seen this scene.
Direct quote from James to Melvin's Execute.
Be quiet or I'll knock the cholesterol out of you.
James, mate, they're not actually eggs. Pay attention, lad.
No, it's you who need to pay attention, because 1, James is taunting Execute for look like an egg, and that's coming from me. And 2, they don't know that because they just traveled to the fun fair, where they saw Ash and his friends outside of a tent at a 6-minute mark.
I think the animators might have made a little boo-boo here, because Jessie's looking a bit, you know, either that or she's just been really skilled at sucking in a gut all this time and we've just not realized.
Yeah, that's pretty cursed to see that. I mean, imagine how Little Bunny would look if she had that. Lucario would not be happy about that.
All the Exeggutor use hypnosis on each other and confuse themselves, because apparently they're all dumb as shit. Jeez, have they all got coconuts for brains or something? Yes. Yes, they do.
Face shaming? Really? And you know it's annoying when Melblade Fight does that. Intro 16.
Alolan Persian. Alolan Persian is just straight up ugly, and it really annoys me.
Hey, that's just my face, you buckethead!
How dare you insult me, you fat idiot!
Don't ever call me fat.
So if the Exeggutor are so confused from the hypnosis that they all hypnotized each other and all 3 members of Team Rocket, why didn't they hypnotize Ash or Melvin?
Did you already answer yourself while face shaming Exeggutor?
All the Exeggutor use hypnosis on each other and confuse themselves, because apparently they're all dumb as shit.
You don't know the weird writing in this episode. Instead of the threat of the episode just being Exeggutor stampeding into town and destroying it, they have the Exeggutor stampede through town and destroy the carnival, and then come to a dead end that's just curved enough to turn them around 180, so that now the threat is them coming back into town and dishing out more damage. Why overcomplicate it like that?
And also, didn't Melvin catch all these Exeggutor? Why doesn't he just go and grab all the Pokeballs and start returning all of the Exeggutor to them?
As you can see, no Melvin cannot use them, since they got destroyed by Exeggutor, so this is sin for not mentioning.
So this bloke turns up again and says he's planted a time bomb that's set to go off the moment the Exeggutor reach this field. Jesus Christ, forget Charlie Chaplin, he really is the other guy, isn't it?
And Hitler get punked by Metroplex. When anyone numbers, this is the same universe where we had these 2 moves that's called Explosion and Self-Destruct, which their description mention both user and opponent get fainted by it, not killed. So no, Liam, that comparison does not work when I construct. Sure, it's deadly in outer universe, but in universe, it doesn't matter.
Ash's Squirtle uses Water Gun on the Exeggutor and it seems to have no effect, and Brock points out that the Exeggutor are actually enjoying the water. That makes no sense. Earlier on, Squirtle's Water Gun was weakening the Exeggutor enough to be captured. Maybe Charmander really was doing all the work. Bulbasaur's Razor Leaf simply styles the leaves or hair of the Exeggutor, which kind of makes me wish we could do this in-game, like with Furfrou or with the Let's Go partners. Also, yes, let's address the elephant in the room. These Exeggutors seem to have heads all the way around. I think 5 in total per Exeggutor, even though we know from the later games that Exeggutor just has 3 heads on the front of its body. Clearly the animators didn't get the memo here.
Wrong, wrong, wrong.
Okay, this scene really bothers me, because if anyone watched his videos before this, you know he criticized anime when they're being inaccurate to the source, and got hyped when the anime does being accurate. But yet, Liam wants Pokemon TV to make Exeggutor design from being accurate to inaccurate. Does that make sense to anyone?
Because I'm pretty sure it doesn't.
So, pretty sense for wanting Exeggutor design to be inaccurate in G1 episode. Thank you very much.
Misty tells Melvin he needs to use his fire magic trick. You know, since someone won't send out their Vulpix. And Melvin gives it the old, but all I do is mess things up routine. I really can't stand this kind of attitude from people. Let's be real, people say stuff like this because they want people to respond with, oh no, don't be silly, you don't mess anything up. Mate, times like this are not for attention seeking or compliment fishing. This is a time for action. I say times like these, like a herd of hypnotized walking trees stampeding through town towards a time bomb is some kind of regular occurrence where I'm from. It's not.
Oh, now you finally tell Melvin to man up.
Melvin and Charmander both use their fire to wake up all of the Exeggutors, saving the town, or what's left of it.
Let's seriously assume that Thumper is part of the town, which that's a silly pony moment.
Who's a silly pony? You're a silly pony. Who is? You is Applejack.
And then just watch them walk away. Melvin, those are your Pokemon. Why are you letting them walk away from you? What about your dream? What about Vegas?
As we pointed out before, in Sin 45, Exeggutor's Pokeballs got destroyed by Rampage, so Sin 4 keep lying to us.
Melvin says,
thank goodness no one was hurt.
Sorry mate, but you can't be sure of that from that far away. The area wasn't even cordoned off. For all we know, an unsuspecting kid was playing in that field and just got blown to smithereens.
You have got to be kidding me!
Did Liam seriously just ask if anyone is at the fun fair? You know, the same fun fair that got attacked by the Exeggutor moments ago? Did I hear that right? Oh, and this is ironic coming from someone who said this in the Beauty and the Beach.
Misty's worried she can't win the contest against Gary's fangirls, and I'm inclined to agree with her. Since if I was watching a bikini contest and a 10-year-old turned up as a contestant, I absolutely would not vote for her. In fact, if I was watching a bikini contest and a 10-year-old contestant turned up, I'd leave. And then I'd call the authorities, although not before burning the place to the ground.
Charmander evolves into Charmeleon, my personal favourite of that evolution line. Took a while for those experience points to come through though, didn't it? Someone must have forgot to press A.
Oh, so that's the main reason why you slander on Bulbasaur like that. You're just a fanboy. And you know how we felt about fanboys these days, eh?
Ash hugs Charmeleon and Charmeleon almost burns off one of Ash's ears, and everybody just kind of chuckles about it like, oh you. Dude, a kid nearly got melted. That's not funny. Meanwhile, Team Rocket are still trapped within the herd of Exeggutor, so if they can just keep track of where the Exeggutor are and where they end up, they can go and get Melvin's Pokeballs that are still probably left in that field, come back and just steal all the Exeggutor. Team Rocket actually have a real chance here to pull off this heist between episodes, and the narrator's just ignoring it.
You all already knew what I'm about to say.
Bring back!
Someone's going to pay for this.
Looks like plot armor has left you, Prime!
I'll kill you!
Okay, now I feel better. Nothing like destroying faces to cheer you up.
You are an absolute freak, Prime!
Okay, I'm back. What happened to you?
Don't ask!